All right, welcome back to Fleck Socks, the podcast, episode 219. Today on the show, we have new Trump appointments as well as Matt Gaetz withdrawing his bid from AG. We're going to tell you what we think happened there. Then we have a wasteful government spending section that will make you never want to pay taxes again. Then in Cringe of the Week, Jaguar sacrificed itself to the woke agenda in a recent twink-based ad that no one liked. And last but not least, in Urban Decay, we found some interviews with gang members in the United States that'll make you wonder, why is no one in jail? All this and more, it's Fleck Talks, the podcast, episode 219, ranked the best new podcast of all time!
Because words are just words until action actually starts. And actions speak louder than words, but at the same time, words speak louder than actions because sometimes it's the right thing to do. Very cool. Very cool.
It's Fleck Talks, the podcast, featuring Richard Jaguar. All right, one for one on the intro, as always. Guys, with the holidays approaching, our friends over at Undertac are picking things up a notch, giving you a chance to win $100,000 while you shop. It's the perfect time to stock up, especially because half of all Christmas shoppers buy underwear and socks as gifts. Our friends at Sierra Whiskey Co., makers of Undertac, the world's most comfortable tactical boxers, rugged EDC shirts, and ultra-tough socks, have partnered with Shared Sweeps to give you a chance at winning $100,000. Here's how it works. For every dollar you spend, you'll get one entry into the $100,000 giveaway, with some items giving you double or even triple entries. So the more you shop, the better your odds. Earn up to 10,000 entries just by buying gear that you and your family need and love. Just use code FLECKUSWIN at checkout, and that gets you entered and an extra 10% off site-wide. So whether you're grabbing Undertac boxers, which are 50% more moisture-wicking than cotton, or buying their American-made socks, hoodies, and t-shirts, you'll be entering to win big. Go to undertac.com today. That's undertac.com. Use code FLECKUSWIN for 10% off site-wide and to earn your entries. This giveaway ends December 31st at midnight. See their site for more details. It's linked in the description. Go get your holiday needs today. Thank you to Undertac for sponsoring. Let's get into housekeeping. All right. Thank you to Undertac for sponsoring.
Thank you, Undertac.
It's always cool to have a chance to win $100,000.
Yeah, I hope someone from our audience wins it.
I hope so too, and you guys know what to do to have a chance. All right, we have a packed show, kind of a light housekeeping, but a very packed Urban Decay and Cringe, and a very uplifting, and great shout-outs.
Yeah, it seems like politically things have kind of slowed down a little bit, aside from the Gaetz stuff, which we'll get into, but it's a lull. And then also, perspective-wise, the election, whatever, it's a long time until you're in power. So hopefully we get all our ducks in a row, but it's like we're in this waiting game right now where people are trying to confirm judges and, sneak nuclear war with Russia. And
it seems a little too quiet.
Yeah.
Like initially, Trump won. There's going to be a peaceful transition of power. Everything's fine. He wins. And I feel like you're kind of like, it's quiet. It's a little too quiet. Seems like maybe an ambush is being set up. I'm not trying to be negative.
What's Nancy Pelosi working on in the background?
Yeah.
Certain shit like that.
They're cooking something up, I'll tell you that. All right, first story of the day. There was a cover of a new European newspaper.
Yeah, the New European, it's called.
The New European, and it says The Beast Unleashed, and it's like a wolf with a MAGA hat.
Thank you.
Kind of sick.
Yeah, appreciate it.
That is us.
It says the beast unleashed the vicious men at the dark heart of MAGA.
That's pretty good. And I think it's supposed to make us look scary or evil, but I think people are going to see that, and they're going to see what Trump's about to do with all the illegals getting deported. And I think it could spark like a wave of populism through Europe where they're all going to want Trump-like presidents.
Yeah, and I actually just saw the UK, their prime minister, their new guy that they elected is like polling horribly on approval ratings. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping. America kind of allows Europe. It's like, you see what we did? You can do it too for yourself. Mm-hmm. Nationalists, rise up, and your country doesn't need to be a dumping ground for third world African migrants.
That's a good point. So hopefully a Trump wave is ignited.
Again, a lot of the same things that got Trump elected are happening across the West. That migrant dumping, what are we doing? We're funding these people, the free hotel rooms. We covered on the show before that guy in the UK who's about to become a billionaire because of all the migrants that he keeps in hotels. And it's like, all right, should there be any migrant hotel billionaires in the world? No. The answer is no.
The answer is no. And then I actually saw this tweet from Bernie Sanders, believe it or not, that I thought was just great. I don't usually like Bernie Sanders. He's kind of a hippie old man. But when I saw this, I was pleasantly surprised.
He said, I look forward to working with the Trump administration on fulfilling his promise to cap credit card interest rates at 10%. We cannot continue to allow big banks to make record profits by ripping off Americans by charging them 25 to 30% interest rates. That is usury.
Usury.
Yeah, Bernie.
It's been years since people complained about usury. I know. It's been hundreds of years.
And, that's like a populist crossover, right? It's just kind of one of those things where it doesn't matter if you're right wing or left wing. You can just kind of say, hey, are we ripping off dum-dums in America who don't even know how credit cards work with 30%, 40% interest? Mm-hmm. And the other take on the other side of the coin for that is like, oh, then credit card companies will just stop giving it to high risk, like dumb, low income people. And then they won't have access to credit cards. And it's like, okay, is that bad?
I don't know. I've been on both sides of it. I've been the dumb who doesn't know how the credit card works and maxes it out.
Yeah.
But not anymore. But there was a time.
Okay. And so there are people who don't even know how it works. And it's like, you can make the argument, does that dumb guy need a $700 limit credit card? So I don't know. Visa and MasterCard just testified before Congress too the other day. People were grilling them on their profit margins and stuff because they kind of have a monopoly. So I don't know. It's not really time to be too nice or too worried about Visa and MasterCard and those types of companies,
Yeah. Well, hopefully there will be a financial rejuvenation where things get back to normal and we can maybe fix our money a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the story of the day. Matt Gaetz is withdrawing from his bid to be AG or his nomination.
Yeah, he withdraws himself from being Trump's attorney general pick, says his confirmation was becoming a distraction to the critical work of the Trump transition team.
Which is weird.
Yeah, and he stepped down from Congress, so he was kind of pot committed, as they call it, and still stepped down.
And obviously with John Thune as the Senate Majority Leader, he didn't help. It sounds like he was very stubborn, same with Mitch McConnell, a lot of the rhinos or the rats, Republicans against Trump. Yeah. But there's got to be something else to it. Some people think that Gaetz might be trying to take Marco Rubio's Senate seat or maybe eventually even governor of Florida. Yeah. I was pretty caught off guard by this, though. I did not think he would be withdrawing from his AG nominee.
Yeah.
And then we have a Liz Wheeler tweet that gives us some possible scenarios.
She said there's basically three options why Matt Gaetz withdrew his nomination. Number one, GOP Senate cartel was truly willing to torpedo him. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting initially. There's more to ethics report than we've seen, maybe more damning. And then, or number three, Trump never intended him to be AG, was just giving him an off-ramp from Congress. And that probably scratches your brain a little bit. You're looking into the schizo 4 moves away.
Yeah, maybe he just did him a favor. Matt Gaetz has been loyal. He wants to get out of Congress and do something else. That's a way to do it. You keep your seat, you swap someone in, you go be the senator in Marco Rubio's seat, maybe.
Yeah, and I mean, him becoming the senator who gets appointed by Ron DeSantis is more likely than any random person because he actually has run and been voted in by Floridians. He represents the state already. But I mean, what's more likely? The 4 rhinos you always hear about are blocking it,
Yeah.
Like John Curtis, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Mitch McConnell. They just go, no, we can't let you do it.
He's too crazy.
Yeah, and that's the most likely outcome is usually the simplest or whatever. And Mitch McConnell in his death throes of his political career is just pulling a John McCain, right?
Yeah, that seems like it could be.
This is a good taste of what's to come, too, on anything super controversial. You just get 4 senators who kind of go, no. And then 4 random moderate senators across the country are the people who control the entire country, right? Mm-hmm. They hold it hostage, as opposed to the guy who just won you the entire election, Donald Trump. Right?
Yeah. It's starting to, everyone's starting to show their true colors. And that's what's going to happen.
And it's the first little disappointment, Mm-hmm. It's the first little disappointment, and I don't think it'll be the last.
We didn't even start yet.
We didn't even fucking start. You're already fucking rhinoing us.
Mitch McConnell's doing whatever they want. We haven't even started yet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get to our next section.
Oh, here. And then I have this last piece. Sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
Lisa Murkowski voted to confirm Alejandro Mayorkas. the guy who's in charge of the border. He let in everybody.
Let everyone in. That was fine. But Matt Gaetz, no.
That's a step too far.
That's my own guy, and no.
Yeah.
So thanks, guys. Thanks, rats. Let's get to our wasteful spending section.
All right.
We have a Rand Paul clip here, and he's talking about just some of the things the government has funded when it comes to like research and experiments and trials and stuff. Can you let that play?
Gin to a sunfish versus tequila, which would make the sunfish more aggressive? Nearly $1 million spent studying whether or not Japanese quail, if you give them cocaine, whether or not they're more sexually promiscuous. Was it one small step for man, or was it one small step for a man? And in the end, $750,000 later, they couldn't decide. Was it one step for man, one step for a man? $2 million for the construction of a kelp and shellfish nursery in Maine. $1.5 million to encourage video gaming in New York.
That's the type of shit. And Rand Paul does that every year, right?
Yeah.
The Festivus, he calls it, spending report, where he kind of points out the most absurd shit. And it's just come up because we finally seem to have a mandate to get rid of this type of shit.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times, and maybe this is supposed to be on Schizo page 4, but I think a lot of times these are like the mafia no-show jobs. Where it's like, oh yeah, I'll give you $1 million and you got to figure out how many Diet Cokes until a dog gets diarrhea. I mean, they laugh about it.
It's an ad lib.
And then no one does anything. And then they just get the $1 million and they pretend to research something and they don't actually do anything.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh yeah, there's so much money and not much oversight. We just give jobs to our friends. And it's gotten to the point where we're making jokes about it. Oh yeah, you're in charge of the sunfish tequila experiment.
Yeah, it's a no-show job, but you're not in a lawn chair with one of those Pauly Walnuts tanners. You just have to put on a lab coat for a little while and move around some sunfish, right? So bad, dude.
And then we actually have some stats when it comes to just wasteful spending and how much that costs per American.
This guy, Austin Allred, says, government spending is so big it's hard to contextualize. There are 161 million working Americans. So on average, every $1 billion the federal government spends costs about $6 per working American. If you spend $100 billion, that's $600 each.
Wow.
So we've definitely already given $600 to Ukraine, everybody, every taxpayer in this watching this show right now.
And then can you read the next stat, please?
In 2022, the Federal Government Accountability Office found $247 billion in improper payments made across 82 programs, including $81 billion from Medicaid and $47 billion from Medicare. That's $250 billion in 1 year. And using his number that he said before, for every billion in spending is $6, he said, think of it as the average taxpayer having $1,800 stolen from them in 1 year from improper payments alone.
So just messing stuff up and improper payments, every taxpayer pays $1,800 to that.
Sucks. That's like you could pay rent or something. You could buy a car payment, anything. $1,800. That's a lot. And you know how we've always talked about PPP loans and who is scamming it, Wakanda Forever LLC and shit like that. That's like the tip of the iceberg compared to Medicare and Medicaid fraud. There are just like fake office buildings in Miami. The address and a phone number just keeps ringing, and then they're billing like $500,000 a month to some insurance. It's really crazy. So that's another scammer's paradise. And the government, I guess, just doesn't have the will or care to get that spending under control when they're like, oh, dude, we gave the sunfishes tequila. I don't think we need to work on Medicare or Medicaid, right?
Yeah.
So
exactly. And then this picture went viral on Twitter a couple days ago where they have a shredding company outside of the Department of Justice.
Yeah.
Don't know. I guess it's normal and like routine to get rid of documents and stuff here and there. But right before Trump gets in, right before Elon and Kash Patel and Vivek and all those guys bring the hammer of justice, you got to get the shredder company there real quick.
It's not a good sign.
Maybe we could hold off on the shredding.
It's literally called the shredding company. It's like, hey, the shredding company, can you be discreet? Can you send in one of your brown trucks or something?
Yeah, not that discreet.
Not good.
All right, let's get into our appointee section. Before we get there, I found this picture online of Kamala and Nikki Haley. That was almost the election.
We were 1 inch away from that happening in Butler, PA.
Exactly. And that's what they wanted to happen, the bad guys. That's how they wanted it to play out.
The hammer of justice would not be coming. Kash Patel, we wouldn't be able to sick him on anyone. So
It'd be Tim Scott.
yeah,
Tim Scott.
He's an honorable guy, and then Lisa Murkowski is like in charge of everything.
Yeah. So we have a new appointee, the U.S. Energy Policy guy. I don't know his name, but that's him right there. You don't really need to know his name.
Yeah, he's good. He got some role in the Department of Energy, like deputy assistant or something like that. And what do you think?
Well, the former one was the literal luggage twink.
Yeah.
So that's a complete upgrade. And it also falls under henchman maxing as well. That's very much a henchman type.
Long coat.
Yeah, long coat, big shoulders, small, thick, short neck. Yeah, boss.
Yeah, facial hair. He's looking a hench.
Whatever you need, boss, I got you. And then if you think about the other henchmen we got Steve Chung, Genghis Combs.
Yeah.
We have the energy guy. We have Thomas Homan, which is the border guy who's a henchman as well. I think we make Hulk Hogan UN ambassador, and we're henching.
We start reining in the spending, brother, because you other countries are getting out of line.
Yeah, it's good to see the high school football coach body type and physiognomy is what's going to get it done. It's what the country needs most.
Yeah, we're moving from the theater department to the football coaches, and that's how you run a country, right?
Yeah.
You don't ask the theater department how to run a country. That's like they get theatrical. They start making things up. They play. They care about how they look.
We have to have a party.
The football coach is like run power again, run it again. So it's a difference in goals, right?
Smash Mouth football versus having like a trans party on the lawn.
Exactly.
And then the new Secretary of Education is Linda McMahon, co-founder of WWE.
Yeah, Vince McMahon's wife, and she's getting appointed as the Secretary of Education when Trump wants to get rid of the Department of Education and send it back to the states. So I don't know how that's going to work, but I guess Linda can get it done.
They're going to send her in, and she's just going to crumple everything up. Yeah. And then
get the shredder companies. Then you call in the shredder company, right?
Shredder company.
There's different contexts. The shredder company at the DOJ, very bad. But shredder company at Department of Education, let her rip.
Shred it.
Send in cash.
And then here is Linda McMahon, the Secretary of Education, being power bombed by the mayor of Knox County. Well, I'm glad she's okay and ready to serve.
Politics is fun, dude. Look at this. Did these people ever think they would be in positions of political power? And Linda McMahon really trusted him to not snap her neck. That's Kane, right?
Yeah, and she's an old lady, too. It's easy to snap necks and legs and stuff at that age.
I know. So good for them.
That's good simulation, too.
Mm-hmm.
That those people are in charge of the whole world now. Mm-hmm. And then Trump's transition polls in general, he's got a good approval rating. It says 54% approve the people he's picked so far.
Yeah.
Which is great.
And then 54% approval rating on his transition thus far. And then if you apply the Ann Seltzer Iowa poll theory to that, which is she got that wrong by 16 points, then you start getting to a 70 number.
We're at the
70s.
And then, exactly. And then we actually have some post-election stats from just swings in general, how much Trump gained in all of these states, and then we have them in order, which states gained the most. New York, he gained 11.5%, New Jersey, 10%, Florida, 10%, Massachusetts, 8.7%, California, 8.4%, Texas, 8.3%. So those are big swings across all different types of politics.
Yeah, the leftist states yearn for Trump, and they yearn to be the majority, but unfortunately they fall just short most of the time.
Yeah, and I think there's something here where when Trump's in office, the number of illegal immigrants is going to go down, obviously, crime's going to go down, and then there will hopefully be some voter integrity laws that get put in place so Republicans win for the next couple decades.
That's wishful thinking, brother. I have a feeling Lisa Murkowski's going to have a problem with that.
Mitch McConnell's going to be 98 years old going,
his hand's going to come up from the grave and rip up the voter integrity paper, at the last minute. And you go, what? I thought he wanted that. Doesn't make any sense.
He's a Republican.
And then you realize it's just to elude, so Trump can't get a victory, right?
Yeah. All right. Out of politics and into our next segment of housekeeping, Cocomellon, that show that the kids watch.
Kids are really watching it. They're addicted.
They really like it, and it's getting to the point of addiction. We have a clip here of kids reacting to the sounds of it, and then we're actually going to explain the science behind the show itself.
runs in. They hear that little chime, and they come in running. They can't even walk, and they're running for Cocomellon. Watch. Kids hanging out with mom, bails.
Babies love it's like slot machines for babies.
Yeah, but better, because, there's no competition. They don't even need money. They don't have it, so way better.
But it has the same like addictive properties, and then also like obviously the babies are getting poisoned with the food and the vaccines, and now they're poisoning their brains with this type of content.
Yeah, and we have another supporting article here. It says Cocomellon is literally designed to put babies in a trance-like state. They invented something called the distractitron to measure every instance when a child's full attention strays. You want me to read this?
Yeah,
it's actually very interesting. It's Audience Research Day at Moonbug Entertainment, the London company that produces 29 of the most popular online kids shows in the world. Found on more than 150 platforms in 32 languages with 7.8 billion views on YouTube in March alone. Once a month, children are brought here one at a time and shown a handful of episodes to figure out exactly which parts of the shows are engaging and which are tuned out. For anyone older than 2 years old, the team deploys a whimsically named tool, the Distractitron. And it's a small TV screen placed a few feet away from the larger one that plays a continuous loop of banal real-world scenes, a guy pouring a cup of coffee, someone getting a haircut, each lasting about 20 seconds. Whenever a youngster looks away from the Moonbug show to glimpse the Distractitron, a note is jotted down.
So they're scientifically figuring out how to literally keep their eyes on the screen. And then another way they do it too is they have subtitles, but obviously babies can't read, so it's not even for the babies. And the subtitles go too fast where even if a baby could read, it wouldn't be able to. But just like that flash on the bottom of the screen is like fresh stimuli that keeps them locked on the screen.
Yeah, so while America is wasting its time spending money on stupid research that doesn't matter, like a squirrel using cocaine, there are henchmen out there in London studying how to keep your baby absolutely locked into their programming.
And then locked into the programming, where does the programming come from? Screens, iPads, and TVs. And now you have a screen autistic iPad kid.
Yeah, and
who has a meltdown if you take it away. Like that's what happens. People with the kids on the iPads, once you take it away, they have like these unnatural meltdowns, and the only thing that fixes it is returning the iPad.
And then again, this is our old mantra that we've said on the show a bunch of times. Like we just need some illustrator. Remember Blue's Clues or stuff like that? It was like, oh yeah, hey, what's up? We're going to find a letter or something. Now they're studying how to fucking trap your little toddler before it can even really speak. Yeah, it's like flashing at you. Project 9/11. And so it's again just, show them a cartoon from the 90s. Show them Looney Tunes or something. And yeah, Looney Tunes. Oh, there's a racist caricature of an Indian. So what? They weren't studying how to keep your kid in a trance-like state and teaching them shitty lessons, right?
There's a racist caricature of a banker.
Yeah. Oh, so what? It was 1940. Big deal.
Yeah, well, maybe we should be aware of what the bankers are doing. And we kind of do it too because we have the moving background.
Yeah.
But we're adults.
Yeah, you guys are all adults, so don't look away.
Yeah,
and
keep watching.
Yeah, we got to do our Distractitron tests. Yeah. Last page of housekeeping, people are like, all right, fucking hell.
All right, last part. Apparently there's a song too that goes with Cocomellon, and it's teaching bad lessons.
That Johnny Johnny song taught my kid that lying is funny. Johnny Johnny, yes, Papa. Eating candies? No, Papa. Telling lies? No, Papa. Open your mouth. Ha, ha, ha. So it's teaching the kids how to lie before they can even really walk. And this other person said, it taught my kid the worst lessons. There's a song about being afraid of bugs. Now she's afraid of bugs. There's another where they cry when they get a boo-boo until they get a Band-Aid. Just a few examples. I banned it in our house. Just making your kid afraid of bugs. You ever see a kid that like grab a beetle? Like when I was a kid, I was like lifting up rocks, like finding whatever I could. And all that stuff is taught. And I guess, if you're hypnotized, it's really taught.
Yeah, and I wonder which shows are okay for kids besides the ones we mentioned, like the 90s illustrated stuff. Maybe Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune, and Frasier.
No.
I'm assuming those are all still good. That's what I grew up on.
All right.
And then it gets you a little bit of that.
That's toddler versus,
It gets you a little bit of that gambling itch too on Wheel and Jeopardy, when you're risking money and you're making money and you get disqualified if you don't have enough. There's like a good itch that gets itched there.
Well, we know people are always showing us their kids and tagging us and like the little kids watching the show and baby stuff. So we know a lot of our audience is of at that age. So we wanted to slander Cocomellon a little bit. You know, and it's a double-edged sword, right? You give your kid the iPad and they shut the fuck up for like 20 minutes. You're like, holy shit, this kid. You know, kids are supposed to have high energy. And how do you get them not high energy? It's like the same as a dog. You got to run them a little bit. You got to get them outside and run them a little bit.
And it's like a monkey paw curse to give them an iPad. You give them an iPad,
my kid. Yeah, exactly.
And they listen and they're quiet and they're focused and they're not bothering you. And that's the monkey paw curse, because in the long run, now you have like a little autistic meltdown boy.
Yeah. So we had to cover it.
Yeah, which takes us to our last page of housekeeping already, believe it or not. Before we get there, make sure you guys tickle the post, help us juice the algo, leave a like, leave a comment again, then start yapping. Notifications to be on, P.O. Box needs to be full. Old episodes need to be watched.
There you go.
I'm getting good at it. All right, first, we're going to go kind of fast through this just because not everything is cohesive or has a bigger point. Some stuff is just stuff I want you guys to see.
For sure.
First is Harry Sisson gets called out.
Harry Sisson, what happened? Carmela Harris, Jews, are you still mad? Are you still mad? Are you still?
Harry, what happened?
We have the best Down syndrome people, folks. Our Down syndrome hecklers.
Yeah, we got good ones.
Okay, so that's it?
That was it. I just want everyone to see Harry Sisson's getting called out by everybody.
Yeah, that's how bad it is. That's how much you can get dunked on. Even the people who can't really live on their own are dunking on you.
Everyone's better than Harry Sisson. Next, we got Hunter Biden at Disney World. And the only reason I'm showing this is because he looks like Joe Biden. He's got that Joe Biden in him. See the open mouth?
Yeah.
And like the kind of like the not a young man walk. And he's kind of like meandering around. But that open mouth in the beginning, that was the main part. He's just walking around.
He's his father's son.
He's going to be out of it soon.
Yeah. Any update on your thoughts on Hunter Biden? Any sort of like, do you really need to see him get justice?
I'm coming around.
Let him go?
We can let him, he can be our guy. I think we can let Hunter Biden join our side.
If he says the right things and he gets in on it?
Yeah, there's like a road to redemption. And then you see some people like Mika and Morning Joe are trying to meet with Trump.
Kiss the Ring came crawling back.
Kiss the Ring crawled back. We have Hunter Biden. We have Cenk Uygur, who's like trying to meet with Elon and do some stuff. People now who are so against Trump, but now that Trump's going to be in power, are kind of crawling back. There is a road to redemption. All you have to do is commit to one thing and just expose it or report on it or become an expert on it. Same with Cuomo. Like it
has to be based in truth and reality, and there has to be something wrong. And I don't think Hunter Biden. We're kind of joking about.
I'm joking about Hunter Biden, but there's a bunch of other guys who like want to be.
We're working with Bernie Sanders on fucking credit card interest, right?
Yeah,
like it's kind of an open. If you're right on something, it's an open book. There's an open door or whatever, you know.
Yeah, so like Cenk, if you want to be on the right wing, why don't you do a documentary about like how much LA has gone downhill because of bad DAs and George Gascon and illegal immigrants, and make it a huge thing. Doesn't have to be about Trump, just one topic that is inherently right-wing because of the views of Republicans, and you go do that and commit to it, and then we can like shake your hand and go, oh, this is great.
Good work, brother.
So that's what Cuomo should do too.
Yeah.
Next, the spider outbreak issue.
Officials warn of deadly spider outbreak and are asking residents to collect them for their milk.
What was that last part?
Spider milk? There's spider milk? So they're milking them from their fangs and stuff like that?
So sometimes articles like this kind of like give you a little sneak behind the curtain of what's really going on and what the bad guys are up to.
Yeah.
It's all about the spider milk, baby.
Yeah, you find out it's used in like 90% of perfumes. There's spider milk. And you're like, what the fuck? What happened? What's going on in the background here?
Guys, yeah, because it could be, guys, there's a spider outbreak. We're going to need those back. for the milk.
It's
like, what was that last part?
I don't think you're just reading the headline too, though. I don't know if you really even understand what's going on.
Yeah, no one does.
All right.
No need to read the article.
No need to. Sometimes the headline's enough, right? This is the last page of housekeeping.
All right, we're going to go through it quicker.
Okay.
4 arrested for insurance fraud after staging car damage with bear costume.
Yeah.
I give this 3 booms.
Okay, do them all. Boom.
You couldn't just go to your local grocery store and kind of just drive into a wall and make sure you scratch up every panel on one side so your car would be totaled. Isn't that what everyone else does?
Yeah, there's easier ways to commit insurance fraud than a fake bear claw costume where you can't possibly replicate what a bear claw actually looks like.
That's what I don't get.
And it looks to me like, look at the hand there, the claw that they were using. It looks to me like that's the thing that you use to tear apart pulled pork or shredded chicken. That's like the colloquial bear claw. It's not actually a replica of the bear claws. So better luck next year.
Back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
To get the $4,000 for your Nissan Altima.
Have you guys ever watched Bait Car? Have you ever, people like that? It's like, go to Martin Luther King Boulevard, leave the car unlocked, and I guarantee it'll be gone.
That's a good point.
So sometimes people get too cute for their own good, right?
Yep. Let's go to the Australian rabbit plague of the mid-1800s.
This is a 4chan post. It says, Australia had a rabbit plague in the mid-1800s. They tried a variety of methods to get rid of them. Eventually, they got desperate and switched to the unconventional. They made fake rabbits that were more attractive than the real rabbits. The ones attracted to the fake rabbits didn't breed, and the population was thus reduced. Their face when they're doing it with people now, their face when I figured out why anime girls exist.
And this could be why big tech has all those giant cans on Instagram.
AI girlfriend, giant cans, giant fake cans.
There could be something there.
Yeah, I can't relate with the anime girlfriend part of that or anime girls part of that.
We don't care for anime. But I was thinking about AI in general when I read this story, and I was kind of wondering, like, what if AI is in control of the entire internet and it's giving people what they want so no one sniffs around about AI's control? Like for me, for example, I would be very happy to have a successful podcast with my best friend.
Yeah.
What if AI just gave me that so I'm not sniffing around asking about AI?
Yeah, I'm on YouTube. This is my girlfriend. I'm on YouTube with my friend. Yeah, everything's good. And you're in a padded room and AI's simulating everything for you.
I got to do my podcast. I got to do another episode of the podcast.
Got a lot of views. Got a lot of views on that last one.
That's all actually
fake. Could be true.
Yeah, it's all fake. So I don't know.
And that's the fake rabbit.
Yeah.
Fake podcast. It keeps you spinning your wheels. Oh, good point. Good point, Fleckers.
Don't need to worry about AI.
Spider milk. Yeah.
It makes you wonder, And then, to add on to that, I would really not look into AI if I were to get rich off of my shitcoins.
Yeah, it's like the Matrix, man. If the steak tastes good, there's no reason to get out.
Yeah. So if my shitcoins and my meme coins paid off, AI could do whatever they want. Yeah. All right.
That's fair.
Let's go to our next thing. It's actually more important. There is a chance that 1,000 years of world history didn't happen. This guy has an interesting point. I believe this might be... let's let it play.
If we went from 928 to 1929, they took events from the 800s, some of them, and made them 1800s. They took events from the 700s, made them in the 1700s. Took events from the 600s, put it as the 1600s, all the way back to 928. They needed a history from 1929 all the way back to 928. So they took events like 492 and made it 1492. They took events.
So basically,
you get it.
The idea is they just added in 1,000. And it makes you wonder. And you might know something like this. Did anything happen from 900 to 1500?
900 to 1500.
Can you think of something?
Magna Carta? Yeah, that was like 1052 or 11. Yeah, I can't remember the exact one.
So there's something there where it's like if we were to believe that it's been 2,000 years since Jesus, but then if it really wasn't, like the amount of innovation that happened in human history from like Jesus's time to now, if it all happened within like 10 generations, it kind of would make people less believing in like evolution and then more believing in Jesus and religion maybe.
Okay.
And there's like way less people. We got here 1,000 years ago, and in that time we went from like farming to Cocomellon. So there's something there about like if you get rid of 1,000 years, you can really deceive everybody. But I don't know.
I see this and I go, black schizos, they're very fascinating. They're a different type of schizo than white.
Yeah, it's a different type of...
They just think, what? They just did it. They switched it. There's no reason. It doesn't really explain the reason.
That's a good
why.
point.
And you're kind of trying to learn from it, whereas I'm just like, okay, what's the point?
I'm always open to a theory. All right, next is excess deaths. And we're not going to get into any vaccine discussions. We don't want to get in trouble. But there was 15 million excess deaths since the pandemic that need to be thoroughly investigated, according to the New York Post article. But then if you compare the voting from 2020 election, remember Joe Biden missed 15 million votes?
Yeah, he got 81 million.
Or he got 15 million more than Kamala did?
And it's not quite 15 million. That gap narrowed as California counted its ballots fucking 10 days after the election. But Kamala got like 70, low 70s, right?
Yeah.
So at least 10 mil, basically.
It's very interesting. All right, we're going to go fast to the next one. Can you read it?
Yeah. I hope you all know that tomorrow starts the 20-year reign of Pluto being in Aquarius. The impact this will have on the world will be massive and will usher in the golden age officially and cosmically. Can you all guess when the last time this happened? The American-French Revolution, which is still talked about today. So you can imagine the implications of this event tomorrow.
And this was a few days ago, so we're already in it now.
All right, that's schizophrenic girl shit. We got the black schizophrenic guy. We got you being generally schizophrenic, and then now that's what the girls are into, right? Aquarius.
Yeah.
Astronomy.
Astrology.
Astrology. Yeah. Sorry.
So let's end. So I just wanted to get that out there in case there's some piece of truth that we can plant the seed on.
Okay.
Let's get to our last clip of all of housekeeping. You know how certain people, certain groups go fishing?
They like the sea. Yeah.
They like the sea and they like the seafood. And then there's some groups that eat the bait.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
This next guy's got some crabs, and you think he's going to put them on a hook or maybe put them in a bowl and marinate them and steam them, but you'll see what he does instead. Okay, he's cooking something. He's got some seasoning and some herbs and some oil. And then he's grabbing crabs. Okay, probably going to put these in a bag or in a pot or something. And he just runs it through. He just runs it through and eats it. He's eating the bait.
I don't know if he's eating the bait. Doesn't he? Doesn't that chomping, isn't that a big sound effect? I think he's making you believe he's eating the bait. He's off camera, though.
Yeah, but on one, he bit it and showed that the thing was half eaten.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's eating the bait.
Okay. I'm not doubting.
It's not a fake video situation.
Hey, the video's in Chinese. He's eating the bait. I'm not. Sometimes it's not a big conspiracy. Sometimes they just are slurping the bait up.
All right, our last piece of housekeeping before we move on to Cringe of the Week. I have an idea, and I want some input from you guys. I wanted to make some subtle George Floyd Christmas merch.
Oh.
And I didn't know how to do it exactly. My best idea so far is like a polo with an embroidered name thing that says like George F. or G. Floyd. I think G. Floyd would be pretty good. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, if people knew your name didn't start with G, they might go, who's G. Floyd? But there's, isn't Gerald Floyd a thing? Isn't that a person from history?
Gerald Ford, the president?
Gerald Ford. Okay, maybe not. But if you guys think of a creative George Floyd Christmas merch idea that could be anything that goes on a shirt.
Oh, yeah. Didn't you want to hold a contest?
I was thinking about holding a contest. We got George Floyd Christmas shirt. It doesn't have to be about Christmas, but a George Floyd shirt that's subtle and funny. If you make a design that we end up using, we'll give you $1,000.
Wow. So
it's a real contest now, but if you make something, I'll probably send you a shirt, but not everyone's going to win.
Yeah.
Everyone can't win.
Imagine you win the undertack $100,000 and then you win the George Floyd 1,000. Then you get 101.
101, baby. and you pay it in taxes, and they go, oh, we're going to give this rhinoceros a parachute. See how he goes down. All right, that's the end of housekeeping. We're now moving on to Cringe of the Week. Before we get there, we have a special message from Chalk. Guys, our country witnessed a moment we'll never forget. We saw a man get shot on stage, rise up, fist in the air, and in defiance scream, fight. Sadly, a lot of us have lost our fight, and that's exactly how the globalists want it. They want us weak, out of shape, and full of estrogen and microplastics. This is why we're excited to partner with Chalk. Chalk offers a whole lineup of products formulated to increase your energy, focus, detoxify your body, and boost your testosterone. The ingredients in Chalk's Male Vitality Stack have been clinically studied to boost free testosterone by 87% in just 21 days. Unlike the gimmicky vegetable pills or powder, you will feel the difference, and they have clinical studies to back it up. And right now, you can get 25% off of your Chalk subscriptions for life. Just go to chalk.com, CHOQ.com, and use promo code FLECKUS at checkout. 25% off of your subscription for life. You can cancel at any time. Chalk is made in America, and their all-American customer service team is standing by to assist you. It's time to make men's vitality great again. Get Chalk today. CHOQ.com is the website. FLECKUS is the promo code. Go there now. They support the show. Let's support them right back. You can also call or text them at 50-CHOQ 3000. That's 50-CHOQ 3000. All right, Cringe of the Week. Thank you, Chalk, for sponsoring.
Thank you, Chalk.
You saw me in the gym yesterday.
Let's not get into it.
You saw what I was doing.
Let's
get
into Cringe of the
Week. I owe
Week.
it all to Chalk.
All right.
All right. First things first, the story of the day, Jaguar. You know, the James Bond car from back in the day.
Yeah, whiskey, neat. Give me a shake it, not stirred. And then you have the hottest chick ever gets in the passenger seat, and it's got that historic green color. And
British racing green, and you're ripping around a canyon, and you're going 100 and something kilometers.
English countryside, you're ripping it up.
And well, yeah, Jaguar tapped back into that. Almost. Here's their new ad they just put out a couple days ago. I'm going to say what we're all thinking.
Go ahead.
Times like these make me happy the World War II vets are dead.
Yeah. Easy Company. God forbid. Easy Company saw this.
James Bond car originally, and now they do an ad where they don't even show a car, but they basically say, hey, Jaguar sponsored a twink dance party.
Yeah, we're run by the avant-garde androgynous twinks, and if you don't like it, you probably are going to hate the car, right?
Yeah, and this is actually worse than Bud Light in my opinion, because at least Dylan Mulvaney's cute.
All right, and then also, like, this whole thing, right? Just these weird people, these skinny model culture. It's such a weird thing to lead with for a car company. It's like these people are never involved in it. What do you do in a car? You go on dates, you go places, you take your family places.
You look cool. You're in a Jaguar. You look better than everyone else.
Exactly. And you don't wear gay colors and care about your appearance and your calories. And you're not an Asian guy who weighs 108 pounds.
Yeah, I shaved my eyebrows and I'm wearing a jumpsuit. And you can't even tell if I'm a guy or a girl. Jaguar.
So this was obviously horribly responded to by the internet. This guy's wearing like a tutu. This guy's got the gay leg pom-poms. And, you know, nobody's really explicitly gay or trans in this. They got the Andy Warhol type. But you know it's gay. You know what I mean? There's a different vibe to it where you're like, all right, this is the gay art school kids. And they had carte blanche on whatever they wanted to do, and they chose the stupid colors, and that's for a car, I guess, that you don't even show.
And then someone on Twitter replied to it and said, what the actual hell is this? And then Jaguar replied to them and said, the future. So caught you, fire whatever lesbian tweeted that.
Yeah. And so this, just some facts around this. It's like obviously a rebrand, and U.S. sales are down 80% since 2017. The automaker only moved 8,000 vehicles last year. So something had to change, right?
Yeah.
And then the marketing department, the advertising company, and everybody else above the marketing department all signed off on androgynous twinks trotting around a futuristic hellscape.
And their demo is like 40 to 80-year-old men.
They want to catch you at the midlife crisis. They want to go, come on, you've earned it. Treat yourself.
It's a historic. It's
Yeah.
it's a timepiece. Get a Jaguar. I think obviously this campaign was made before the election, and they thought Trump was going to lose. So they probably decided this like in the summer, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll do our winter campaign with all the twinks. We'll get them in a dance party, get them kissing or whatever."
Yeah.
And then Trump wins, and now you have this stupid ad that no one's really looking for.
Here's the other thing too, the Dylan Mulvaney thing. Dylan Mulvaney, Bud Light, got massacred, and they're doing Shane Gillis commercials now, where it's like comedy and whatever. They're trying to dig back. I'm not drinking Bud Light. I'm still not drinking Bud Light. Shane Gillis, go ahead, enjoy the 10 mil or whatever you got. Spend it in good health, brother. But at this point, Target got smoked. Robbie Starbuck is going around John Deere and Tractor Supply Co. All these companies scalping them. He takes an executive's head and he saws like it's not. We're not talking about metaphorical scalps. He's sawing their heads off, the tops. And if you haven't learned a lesson by now that like nobody's receptive to this stupid shit, then you're never gonna learn it. And this is actually the CEO's fault. This all rolls up. If the CEO isn't constantly being the last person who sees the marketing stuff and signing off before it kind of gets greenlit, the commercial. Okay, so here's the concept. All these fucking twinks. Show me the headshots. And he's going, Asian model, darkest Nigerian you've ever seen, skinny twink.
No eyebrows twink.
Yeah. And he's not objecting or something. The CEO should get fired. This is like horrible marketing 101, and there's kind of no excuse. Every business, every person who's paying attention to anything marketing-wise should have learned this lesson by now, that like a bad marketing campaign can absolutely blow you out and turn off half of your potential buyers, right?
Yeah. Jaguar would rather top a twink than stop and think what's actually good for their business. we actually have a clip from the head of strategy.
New head of brand strategy.
He's wearing a mesh shirt under a blazer.
Which is Rob shit.
And at Jaguar, we are passionate about our people, and we're committed to fostering a diverse, inclusive, and unified culture that is representative not only of the people who use our products, but in a society in which we all live. A culture where...
We don't have to actually listen to it. He's just a twink.
It's all twink preamble, jargon,
He
buzzwords.
did it.
Yeah.
He did it.
He did it. We
Caught
found
you.
him.
And then here, I found a thing on Twitter. Someone replied, here's what the ad they should have ran.
Absolutely hot girl, tiny dress.
Huge cans.
Nice car.
Jaguar.
Pretty simple, guys. It's actually hard to fuck up, and you somehow managed to do it, right?
Yeah. Well, let's move on to our next clip.
This is the next step, though, is not explicitly gay, but sneaky gay. Where you're looking at it and you're going, what's this? You're kind of like a boomer brain. You're like, what's that? What's he wearing? What's he got on? Like how your dad would react to something.
Which is actually a perfect transition for our next clip. This person was working at a place, and then a boomer kind of questioned them on their overall, how they're presenting themselves, and here's what happened.
My God, guys, I'm so sick of coming on the internet and crying. But guess what just happened to me? Like, you will never guess. Second table of the night, guys. I like... Nasty old man, he leans in, he's like, what's your name again, young man? Phil, like, what can I do for you? Why do you look like a girl? Why are you wearing earrings and prancing around with... Oh my God, like, I could not even let him... What a disgusting thing to say, sir, like, what a disgusting... Well, why do you look like a girl? Like, I had to put my hands up and say, please stop. Like, I have to go back in, I have to finish working. I have to finish my tables, like, yes, I love it here, like... I didn't even do anything. Like, I just came to work. Like, yes, I have to wear a stupid fucking wig. Sorry I dyed my hair. Like, this makes this seem like an actual joke, but this is, like, real. Like, okay.
So the person's look is pretty deliberate.
Yeah, glasses, earrings.
The wig, the earrings, the glasses. Like, you made a lot of choices that took, like, confidence.
Nose ring.
But then a boomer goes, hey, what's going on with this outfit, little boy? And you go, oh, and you completely lose your shit.
I'm going to start crying to my TikTok audience because one boomer whose opinion like, if you're dressing like this, you are kind of sending a message that you already disregarded all boomers' opinions, right?
Yeah, you don't care. You're a confident young whatever. And then it's like, it's all about like self-expression, but it's not actually self-expression because self-expression would be like unwavering to the response of your presentation.
Yeah. It'd be like, you're wrong. I'm right. I know what I'm up to. You don't know anything.
What do you want for lunch?
Yeah.
I'm not even going to spit in it. I'm a normal guy. Yeah. But instead,
and I'm certainly not going to cry in my car later filming it.
But this person needs like submission. They need to wear something that's so outrageous, but they need everyone who sees it to go, yep, that's good. That's okay. That's normal. And if they don't get that, now you're crying in your car to your TikTok audience.
Yeah. It's like the guy who comes in and wears the shirt and keeps like his money clip in his pocket and wears a Vietnam veteran hat. Like he needs him to accept that. And it's like, bro, you're never going to get that. You know that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, clearly the person crying is gender confused. And then the boomer who saw you was confused about your gender as well.
Yeah, you guys actually have that in common.
What's the big issue? No one can figure out the gender part.
Yeah.
And then also just a reminder to you guys, if you're business owners especially, never hire one of these people because once you do, you can't rely on them in the workplace and then they'll hire more and then you'll have your business turn into a non-binary enclave, which we've seen happen.
And then they talk about unionizing and stuff like that.
And they turn on you.
And then eventually they'll turn on you and it'll become like this thing where they all walk out one day and
you go, what the fuck?
A bunch of non-binary twinks got you hostage because
And
they migrated into your coffee shop.
That's what happened to Starbucks.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. And then that person is trans, I guess. I don't
even know what he was, but
I don't even know if it's a he or she.
He's going by Phil. He said he's Phil. I know it's a he.
Okay. Phil. And we do a good job here on the show of showing the other side of obviously what the left is up to. We have a tweet here from someone who just gave birth. Can you read the full thing?
Yeah, she's bottle feeding the newborn and she's crying and she goes, if only I could somehow go back in time to 2018 and show myself these photos. Those are not happy tears. This was her very first feeding, 40 minutes old. I know breastfeeding does not work for every woman, but the hopelessness of my situation is hitting me hard this time. And somebody says, why weren't you able to breastfeed? What was the cause? And this woman said, I went insane and had my breasts cut off. And somebody said, preemptive for breast cancer? And she goes, worse, transgenderism.
So there you go.
That's dark, but I guess I'm glad she pulled out, right?
Yeah.
There's worse things than bottle feeding a baby if you still were able to give birth.
Good for you. That was close.
This is uplifting gold cringe, but you should,
you almost lost it.
And you know what? It's funny because situations like this, the detransitioners and stuff, you know there's a dad or an uncle. You know how we're all going to be this Thanksgiving if you go home, the liberal aunt, you kind of go, you're laughing at her across the way because Trump just blew her out. There's always one of those in these people's lives too, who's like, no, you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't transition. What is this? Nothing permanent. And then for her to be posting about this and coming back, it's like, yeah, my opinion didn't matter then, huh?
I wish you really told me to stop.
Yeah.
Next, we have Nancy Mace. There's a new person in Congress who's trans.
Yeah, a man dressing up like a woman named Sarah says, oh, I'm Sarah. I'm from Delaware.
And then Nancy Mace is saying men in men's bathrooms, women in women's bathrooms, and she's making a big deal before Congress opens back up. And then she was approached by a journalist, and here's the exchange.
Here she goes. Here's Congresswoman Mace. Congresswoman Mace, can I ask you a question as you walk here? So the question is, with your piece of legislation about banning women from using...
100% yes.
My question to you is...
And it doesn't go far enough. I'll be filing more bills.
You have said that it was created in response to Congresswoman-elect McBride.
100%. And
but should legislation be created targeted at one specific person?
It doesn't mention anyone in the legislation, but
you've said it was aimed at her.
No, I have said it's a result of this. I'm not going to allow biological men into women's private spaces. I will stand in the brink and stand in the way of anyone on the radical left who thinks that it's okay for a penis to be in a women's locker room or a bathroom or a changing room. Hell no. I am not going to stand for it. And the speaker said,
she does a good job. But this whole interaction is kind of a microcosm of the issues that we're facing right now, where if this reporter wasn't a pussy who is elevating the opinions of a minority of the people on his huge platform, MSNBC, which isn't that big, and pretending that this is like how a majority of people feel, we could actually make progress. Like we could go execute on a plan and make good changes, but the whole time we're kind of stuck explaining ourselves to pussies at the starting gate. You know, you can't really get much done when you try to do something and before it even happens, you have to go explain yourself to the mainstream news. Yeah. So it's kind of a microcosm of what we're going through as a country in general, where you have the news pretending that, oh, majority of the country opposes this because it's so hateful, but it's actually not. And most people who are common sense oriented would go, yeah, that makes sense. Let's apply it to everything. But then the news defends the minority position as if it's a majority position.
Yeah, so you spend your time not only trying to oppose, but then you have to argue for why you're opposing it.
Constantly explaining ourselves to people who don't have America's best interest and don't want to see people succeed.
Yeah.
And that's what Trump had to do the first term. And I'm thinking this term, I'm hoping he does it less and says, all right, we're deporting everyone. And the media is going to say, oh, he's Hitler. He's deporting people. This is Mussolini. And he'll go, okay, everyone's still getting deported.
Yeah.
We're sending the buses. We're not going to stop because you're saying something that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and it's good social media. It's good, like, funny videos when Trump is just, like, roasting Jim Acosta or something. But he's, like, trying to talk to the American people, right? Mm-hmm. Specifically when you're doing, like, a press briefing and whatever. You're trying to talk to the American people, and then you have some little CNN guy who's like, Mr. President, what of this thing? That's like totally irrelevant to the broader goals of the administration. I totally agree. I hope he spends less time answering and fighting pussy, retarded reporters who can't be kind of, they'll never be, it's not like you go, oh, I get it now.
Yeah.
You'll never be convinced they're like an arm of something that's just meant to resist.
They're just trying to stop you out of the gates, trip you up.
For sure.
Next, I don't know what this is from, but it's just a funny word because people now can't say boys and girls or men and women anymore because there's so many layers to it now. And then this person's way he describes a woman I thought was very funny.
People who are not vaginally presenting, forgive me for that using those terms, but cannot use the spa.
Vaginally presenting. That's where we're at.
That's where we're at.
That's how far we've come.
Women is gone. It's gone. We gave it away. Somebody took it, right?
All right, we're moving on now to Urban Decay. All right, our first story of Urban Decay. A woman was wrongfully arrested after getting off of a cruise.
It's for endangering a child.
I think you'll have the wrong person.
Endangering a child? Well, that's why we verified.
Except something went seriously wrong in the verification process. BSO deputies arrested Jennifer Heath Box as she disembarked from a cruise in 2022, even though the warrant for child endangerment was for a woman named Jennifer Del Carmen Heath.
You've had no incidences at all whatsoever
Never.
in the past couple of years?
I promise you, I'm sure you hear this a lot.
And Jennifer Box spent 3 nights in jail.
Just felt hopeless. I just didn't know what was going to happen. The two women have different middle names, different last names, different addresses, different driver's license numbers, different social security numbers. This Jennifer is 5 inches taller. She's 23 years older than the Jennifer wanted in the warrant. And most importantly, she didn't have minor children to endanger. But Broward County ignored all of this evidence and arrested Jennifer anyway. I mean, I have nothing but anger and frustration. You feel completely broken when you're arrested, because you're humiliated, you're degraded. So it breaks you.
BSO ran.
She should have just resisted arrest and said, I didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing. He yelled that a few times.
She should have sucker punched an old woman walking her dog on the street.
Yeah, they would have let her go right away for that.
No bond, right? And the funny thing is, the lawyer is going through the list of things, and she's like, same, wrong middle name, wrong last name, blah, blah, blah. Lists everything. He goes, and she's even 5 inches taller.
I'm like, yeah.
They're not even checking the middle and last name, lady. I don't think the incompetent cops are going to get to the 5-inch difference, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So we obviously show these things for a reason in Urban Decay. It's not just funny, dumb clips make you go, ha-ha. But what's the broader lesson here? Even cops, the criminals are bad out there, and then sometimes the cops are bad too. This is Broward County, so it's in Port of Miami probably for the cruise ship, right?
Yeah, cops botch it too sometimes.
And What do you do? What do you say? Really, 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 it's wrong. I need a lawyer now. Lawyer now.
Lawyer now.
Spending 3 days in jail for that. I mean, this lady's going to get written a check.
That's
right?
what you do. You sue and you let them do whatever, and they wrongfully arrest you, and you make your case. They don't listen, and then you sue and you get a big payout.
But yeah, so I mean, the increase in crime and the incompetence of cops kind of gets circular, where you can be touched by it even if you're not involved in anything. You just happen to be on a cruise. So
yep. Let's go quickly through our next stuff. We're gonna go a little faster through Urban today because we're short on time. We had a guy with prior arrests, tons of prior arrests, who stabbed people, killed 3 people in broad daylight in New York. Can you read the rap sheet?
yeah, the guy was charged with killing 3 in random stabbings across Manhattan. Ramon Rivera, 51, attacked the victims in an unprovoked spree that began in Manhattan's Chelsea neighborhood and ended near the United Nations, the police said. If only Hulk Hogan was in charge of the UN, he would have stopped it, brother. But this guy, it's just a nutbag, violent criminal, and he's going all over the island, stabbing people. And he had 8 prior arrests in New York, 7 prior felony charges in New York, released exactly 1 month ago, rearrested that day, then released, just killed 3 people in broad daylight. So that's the type of guy, New York, that's what they're up to. And
But Daniel Penny, though, Daniel Penny's got to worry about if he's going to get arrested or be, was it self-defense or whatever? He has to worry about his trial.
Yeah, did you see they released the Daniel Penny interrogation video?
Yeah.
That got released. So again, cops arresting that woman off the cruise line, Daniel Penny going, "Oh yeah, what's up, officer? Oh, you were a Marine too?" They talk back and forth. It's not really the time to be trusting cops. You never talk to cops without a lawyer, pretty much, in a professional setting, unless you're friends with a cop. And I don't know.
Yeah, this situation, though, multiple releases, released and arrested in the same day.
Yeah.
We can't just keep this guy locked up, this like street rat looking homeless guy.
Yeah, there should be a new rule. Oh, you have 3 felonies, you can't be arrested and released in the same day, period. You kind of shouldn't even be out.
Yeah, let's go to our next clip. These urban youths in Japan on the subway. All right, we get it. They're dancing, they're loud, they're obnoxious. And then Japan has these signs up in their subway that with this picture, and it says, "No circus performance here."
And that covers a lot of behavior. And that's clearly a breakdancing video or picture.
And they're able to be fair with the people in their ads, in America, where it's like an old lady's the one who's loud on the subway and they put that picture up.
Yeah, the small Asian woman's playing on the loudspeaker and the Arab guy's offended.
Yeah, they got pretty accurate of who's doing the circus performances on the subway. All right, let's go to our next 2 clips where we have interviews with gang members. The first is American gang members, I believe in Atlanta.
All right, my name is Matt Hefner, and I'm here with the young niggas of Atlanta. All right, first thing, what's y'all favorite color?
Red, nigga. Nigga, red, nigga.
Why y'all favorite color red?
All I see is red on blood. Only thing I see.
All right, shit, all right. All right, what's y'all niggas favorite hobbies and shit?
Killing, spinning. I just like playing basketball.
All right, respect. All right, so what's y'all favorite TV show and shit like that, bro? Y'all niggas got any good TV?
Shit, I like Scarface. That's a movie. Channel 2 News.
All right, y'all boys.
All right. So this is who our taxpayer dollars are supporting as well. And then they're going out to an event. They're part of the community, it looks like.
They ski masks on.
Ski masks on at a public place.
It seemed like the second guy was kind of more into doing bits. He likes basketball and Channel 2 News. I'm okay with that. Take the ski mask off, young man. Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome to the party. The other guy killing and Tony Montana and spinning the block, and his favorite color is red. But this is, they're comfortable. They don't care. The social media aspect of it, it's like, whatever.
Yeah, that's...
he's telling the camera he's a gang member, right? The Crip or Blood or whatever the red is.
Mm-hmm. And then these types do violence, and that's why you can't go to the park. That's why you can't ride the subway safely. Your kids can't walk home from school.
That's why you get arrested coming home from the cruise.
Yeah. And then we actually found some gun problem stats here. firearm homicide rate for 100,000 people.
Yeah.
And if you look, it compares countries too. U.S. black, that's the one on the left, then U.S. Hispanic, then Finland, then Austria, then France, then Canada, then Czech Republic, then U.S. white. So when David Hogg tells you we have a gun problem in America, and then he also doesn't mention urban problems and guns in urban situations.
I've never seen David Hogg mention they putting switches on their Glocks.
Or the disproportionate, use of firearms by black people.
Yeah.
He doesn't really mention that, but there's a gun problem. And what does that mean? He wants to take white people's guns away. And if you look at the graph, white people's guns are not the problem.
Yeah. And, David Hogg, David, if you're really against gun violence, you should be focusing on a couple square blocks in Chicago. You should be focusing on a couple streets in Baltimore. It's actually already triangulated and segregated for you.
Yeah,
but he's not interested in that type of gun violence, right?
Exactly. And then we actually have a story here about a Illinois state rep who's calling for an investigation into Chicago traffic light cameras because they are apparently racist.
Yeah, this is LaShawn Ford, and he's obviously a black man, and he wants investigation to determine why South Side red light cameras issue 2.5x more tickets than North Side cameras. And, if I had to guess, if I was putting on my thinking cap, I'd say there's probably 2.5 times more infractions down there.
I don't think the camera is thinking.
I don't think the camera that only takes a picture if you're through the middle of the lane at the red, I don't think it's picturing is that a black guy? Get him! That's not in the logic. That's not in the coding of the camera, LaShawn.
It seems to be only taking photos if you're breaking the law, and it's not really asking questions beyond that. But then you get to extrapolating, and it sounds like there's 2.5 times more lawbreakers in the South Side than the North Side.
And it's funny to me because we just showed the chart where we don't have the gun problem, and it's like the U.S. black population, which has an insanely high off-the-chart homicide rate per 100,000, right? And then this is 2.5x. This is a 2.5x, but the politician has to go, is this because of racism? But you have this 20x or at least 10x over here, 1.7 U.S. white to 19.8 U.S. black. You got a 10x right there, and you're going, nothing to see. No, let's not worry about it.
Cameras is racist.
That's because of socioeconomic shit.
Yeah.
But the camera, the actual mathematical, code-based machine, that's because of racism.
Exactly. Well, let's not get too down or too depressed. Let's move on to Uplifting Gold.
We're not going to do any of these migrants?
We're going to do the migrants in Bonus Land. We have a great migrant section in Bonus Land.
Okay, I want to just bring up a point for the regular episodes, people who aren't getting to Bonus Land. Every time I see a migrant video, we're going to show there's gang videos. They're doing like this, and it's a migrant outside of the Roosevelt Hotel, blah, blah, blah. And then the Venezuelan guy who assaulted someone, he's getting arrested and getting perp walked. There's a different feeling in the air when you see those videos and you go, I know he's going back. Tom Homan's on that guy.
Yeah.
We're going to send him in. He's going to get bounced. And especially the criminals, they're going first. So there's a different air,
It's less of they got him, they're just going to release him, he's going to do it again. Now it's like they got him, and we have new people in charge.
It's less doomsday. It's more, that we found one who's really going back right now. So,
all right, our first story from Uplifting Gold is kind of about going back. It says Haitian migrants are fleeing Springfield, Ohio in droves over mass deportation fears.
Unfortunately, they're fleeing Springfield, Ohio and going to places like Chicago and New York and different, less rounded up parts of the country.
They're going to sanctuary cities.
But they will go back. They're going back, boys.
It's a multi-step process. Mm-hmm. All right, next is a guy who tries to hit a ball into the Atlantic Ocean. He missed it. That's pretty good. Everyone can relate to being not good at golf. Yeah. Next is a European guy in the U.S., and he's loving it.
I've been driving for 5 minutes now, and I can't wipe this smile off my face. I'm driving a Ram truck in America. Look how sick this is. Country music on the radio. Go on. I'm going to Hooters in a Ram truck in America, boys. Yeah. Praise for freedom!
Love it.
Yeah.
He's getting the American experience.
There you go.
That's uplifting. He's going to Hooters in a Ram truck. That's Americana.
Certain things that you can only do here.
Exactly. All right, next is the guy who hits a piñata successfully.
You've learned. You're learning what to do now. You said a guy who tries to hit the golf ball in the Atlantic Ocean earlier.
He's hitting it. Looks like he's doing okay. Oh, hit right in the face.
Piñata's not really worth it. You can just give people candy.
Yeah.
You know?
It's so easy to go bad, especially when the person's blindfolded and swinging a bat.
I've seen a lot of old ladies get hit.
They can't get out of the way.
Yeah.
All right, next is a kid gives a doll to her baby sister, and the doll is very spooky.
Can you get this for me, Violet, please?
Of course. I think she likes it. You like her. Oh, good catch.
So the baby likes it. And that's kind of, we talked about that a few weeks ago, where babies are only scared of stuff if the mom makes them scared of it.
Yeah, that's
or like
why
the parents react. If you don't, that baby is just happy to receive a gift.
Yeah, you don't listen to Cocomellon about bugs, all of a sudden nobody cares, right?
Exactly. All right, our last clip before shout-outs. This is a UK singer singing about what's going on in the UK.
The UK's fucked up and there's no one coming over to save me. Elon Musk is trying to beat with Keir Starmer's crazy. All that we want is our borders closed, but all that we got is you adverts and clothes. If I speak my mind, then I am far right. I guess I better pack my bags, cause I'm fucking up over the opponent, where the streets are safe, and you're not here to lock me up in jail over a comment I put on Facebook. I guess I kinda like the way you push me away. I try and see a doctor.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, it's sad, man.
It's
sad
very
what's
sad.
going on there.
And then he probably will get in trouble for that. Who knows?
Those are the people, like, you know, colonizers, whatever the left wants to call them. That's the small island of people who conquered the entire world, tamed the entire world.
And then they just gave it all away.
Hey, you got a license for that TV, mate? No, I don't see what you posted on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's a crazy downfall.
People are going to jail for Facebook posts where they post like, I'm tired of all of our tax dollars going to the migrants. It's not even like, I'm going to beat someone up or we're going to do an attack.
If I see a migrant on the street today,
it's like this is getting bad.
It's like,
guys.
I'm seeing too many Palestinian flags. And it's like, all right, the police are coming for hate speech. And it's like a woman and a guy. And, you know, it's bad.
Okay, we're in our shout out section. Remember in the Jaguar commercial, everyone was androgynous?
Yeah.
And then remember we shouted out that guy Rob a few maybe months or years ago at this point, and he was androgynous Rob. He was very androgynous. It was very sure that he was a man.
I don't remember this.
Well, it was we shouted him out. Well, it's androgynous is Rob's birthday.
Okay.
And he had a Fleckus themed party. His daughter threw him a Fleckus themed party.
That's crazy.
So they have a Fleckus cake. Keep going.
This guy might love the show.
We got a Helen Keller denier shirt.
That's good. We still deny Helen Keller, by the way.
And then look at this last piece.
Oh my God. You did not. Are you serious? My favorite.
That's pretty good.
That's
a whole
amazing.
Fleckus party.
This guy must watch the episodes twice, 3 times. What are you doing, Dad? Fucking what do you think? I'm watching the podcast.
He's got it going. He's always got Fleckus going. So happy birthday, Rob. We love you. And thank you to Abby, your daughter, for setting that up. Very cool. We love you. Happy birthday.
Yeah, that's a different level. I've never seen that level before.
Yeah, we love you, dog.
Rob.
All right, next clip. What do we have? Is that a shout out? Yeah.
Flex Hugs, the podcast, rated best new podcast of all time.
And then you might think, oh, this is illegal or this is bad. He replied to the tweet, and can you read what he said?
He said, this was part of a planned fire drill. It was my responsibility to conduct the drill. The station was tested as part of the drill. No laws were broken, and there's no Urban Decay here, just pure Americana.
He takes responsibility for his facility.
Yeah.
And that's very cool. And he shouted us out. That's like a high production value, high stakes shout out.
You know what? That's very high production value. And you know what this led me to think about is How many Americans out there never get the chance to pull a fire alarm?
Yeah.
There's a lot. And you know how like there's stupid gimmicks like millennial type, like, oh, this is a cat cafe, or oh, you go here and then you break stuff. A fire alarm polling station is pretty low cost, and I'd like to feel an authentic pull.
I've done it.
Oh yeah, you pulled the fire alarm?
Yeah.
So I haven't, because I'm an upstanding citizen, not a scumbag rat.
Yeah, I've done it once. I can't say how or when, but it was bad.
Yeah. So you're a rat, and you cost somebody thousands of dollars in fire response time, but I haven't, and so I want to pull one. I'm looking for an opportunity.
And then we have a baby shout out here. Or what's that video first?
It's a rock kick.
None of this hippie shit in Texas. Fleckus Talks the podcast. Best new podcast of all time.
And they stacked the rocks that had broken off the curb. They're not even in nature. Somebody stacked that up.
Good to kick it over.
All right.
And then we have a baby born here.
My wife and I are bonus landers and welcomed our son Theo. Never miss an episode. My wife's celebrity crush is Rap Boy. Thank you. Sam and Maddie, if we could get a shout out. And they're watching on 2 devices.
Yep. Just don't show the baby the devices. They'll get addicted.
Yeah. Well, you can kind of show it us.
Yeah.
We don't have a distractitron like Cocomellon, and there's no tones.
We have a little distractitron with the moving background.
Yeah,
all right.
It's never been tested.
Congrats, Theo. Happy birthday being born.
Okay.
Happy birthday, not birthday. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
We also have some happy birthdays to Tony's girlfriend, Carla, who turned older on November 21st.
Happy birthday, Carla. Tony did not specify what birthday it is, as you can tell.
Happy birthday to Chantal on the 21st as well. Her and her husband, Walter, love the show. We appreciate you guys watching.
Chantal and Walter?
Yeah, it's a nice combo.
It's a good combo.
It's good names.
Walter. I think Walter is going to make a comeback, actually. Not to steal from Chantal's birthday. Walter, that's a strong name.
It is about Walter mostly.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Happy birthday on November 17th to Brian Wardell. He's an OG watcher. He watched The Man in the Spoon, The Man on the Street with the Spoon. And he spreads the show to everybody. He's a bonus lander as well. And he's a merch wearer. And then they have, him and his wife have a date night. Him and his wife, Jessica, have like a Friday night date night where they watch the show.
That's good.
That's very cool. Happy birthday to Abe Cam, 35 on November 18th. Happy birthday, Abe. And
Abe.
Abe
That's
Cam.
a good name, too. Abe, Walter.
These are good. And happy birthday to Allie Bratton, turning 24 on November 18th.
Happy birthday. Who requested that one?
Her boyfriend.
Okay, there you go.
Very cool.
Can't leave him out. What's
Exactly.
your name? What's your name? What's the boyfriend's name? Let's make it about him.
All right, and then we're going to end the show with a Fleckus Talk song that someone made with AI. Let that rip, and we will see you guys in bonus land. If not, have a nice weekend. We'll see you on Tuesday.
All right, welcome back to Fleckus, off the box, the podcast. We're turning the dial, got a world to broadcast. Rank the best new podcast of all time. Let's dive into the chaos, yeah, it's our prime. Let's dive into the chaos, yeah, it's our prime. We've got a packed housekeeping news on the rise. From aliens in the sky to the mainstream lies. Kamala's got her secrets, Biden's got the hat. We're peeling back the layers, let's talk about that. Very cool, as the world spins around. We're here to break it down. What's lost can be found in this urban decay. We're lighting up the night. Stay till the end for uplifting gold so bright. Cringe of the week, it's a sight to behold. Nacho cheese at a gas station, stories untold. From Haitian migrants to media spin, we're decoding the madness. Where should we begin? Very cool, with the neon glow. We're ranked the best podcast now everybody knows. Through this urban decay, we'll make it alright. And in the bonus land, the future's in sight. With the neon glow. podcast. Urban Decay will make it alright. And in the bonus land, the future's in sight. With the retro beat and the city lights, Flecker's talks is shining bright. From Elium's to Kamala's earpiece, in this packed house, keeping the noise will cease. So tune in and don't look back. It's Flecker's talks, we're on track. Very cool, let's end with gold. The best new podcast, let the story unfold.